Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you on this July 7th, 2025. I've got all of your stories for your rush hour ride to work. Yeah, it feels like a lucky day, 7/7/25. I hope this Monday finds you guys well after 4th of July weekend. Did everyone make sure they didn't blow off their fingers? I told you, don't blow off any fingers. You know, it happens every time we lose a couple digits. Hit the like button with whatever fingers you have left. In today's episode, we have a lot to get into. We're going to start with the first half talking about the Steve Sarowitz article in Forbes magazine. It has to do with the billionaire financier behind Justin Baldoni's Wayfair company. And we're also going to talk about Blake Lively. A new deposition date has been set, so stay tuned for that. And then a Bachelor in Paradise preview. The new season premieres tonight. Looking forward to it. And then the back half of this episode, we got some wild stuff to talk about as Epstein is back in the news. Department of Justice says, he had no client list. How convenient is that? Is this information coming because Elon Musk is releasing a new political party? Now, what do the two have in common? Well, does Elon Musk know something that we all need to know? Get on your tinfoil hats, folks. We'll talk about that. And sadly, very sadly, we have to talk at the end of this episode about the floods in Texas, which took the lives of, at this point, over 80 people, and the number keeps growing, many still missing. It's a tragedy. So we're going to get into that story and so much more. It all starts right now on The Rush. Now, we do have a programming update. If you're listening on the audio version of this podcast, you're not going to notice anything different. But if you're listening or watching on the YouTube version, I'm going to be trying something different here. I'm going to be segmenting the podcast into several different videos. I don't know how long I'll do this for, but essentially we've got pop culture content, entertainment news content, and then we have our political world news, kind of heavier stuff. And I'm going to just cut them in half, right? So for this video right now, you're going to get all of the pop culture news, and then the immediate next video, you're going to get the political stuff and all the other stuff I cover, right? So if you kind of don't have it in your head to deal with the heavy stuff, I totally understand. The real reason I'm doing this is rather than release a 30-minute episode and just dump it onto YouTube, you only get one thumbnail, which is really important in targeting your audience. So rather than doing that, in case anyone wants to know the behind the scenes of the sort of strategies, I'll be able to now have separate thumbnails that target the entertainment news world, whatever, in this case, it'll be a Baldoni thumbnail or whatever. And then when we talk about things like, Donald Trump's response to Elon Musk, that'll have a dedicated thumbnail, and we can target some people different there because, it's like we cover, it's a tight needle to thread. We cover a lot of random things. And anyhow, it's always a work in progress trying to figure out how, to work the social media and the YouTube and all of that. So there's your update there. So you're not going to get it right now, but if you just stick around, you'll get the part 2 right after part 1. I'm going to release them concurrently. All right. Well, in the Justin Baldoni sort of ongoing saga, very interesting stuff that Forbes magazine, and again, I don't give much credit to Forbes magazine. I'm pretty sure I could buy my way into Forbes at this point if I had the money. I don't have the billion-dollar backing here, because they're kind of like a pay-to-play, just like every other kind of failing magazine is. And I don't mean that to slight them. It's a tough business model out there. Anyhow, they've got a new article on Steve Sarowitz, the billionaire backer of Baldoni's Wayfair production company, how the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively saga led a billionaire to shut down his foundation. Now, we've been covering this, and there was some pretty wild stuff. If you didn't hear the previous coverage, that Steve Sarowitz, who, by the way, he wasn't born a billionaire. He just created a company, Paylocity, and it's worth a lot of money now. He's part of the Baha'i faith, which we've talked about, of course. They have very strong convictions. He's a Jewish man who's also part of the Baha'i faith. He says they don't have to be one or the other. They can actually work together. And he's dealt with like a fire at his house. There was a person threatened to kidnap the couple's daughter, a senior at Northwestern University, writing that she wouldn't make graduation unless they forked over $80,000. So a lot of trouble has come from this guy being wealthy and being a part of this sort of large lawsuit here. the person said, if you guys are prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Blake Lively and her family, we are sure you can spare a few for your daughter. And again, this is an active case, so I have no idea if they've captured I think they did arrest somebody, but if there's, there might be more to the story than this. Now, of course, Steve Sarowitz would tell you he never said he was going to spend $100 million to ruin Blake Lively. He was going to spend it to defend Justin Baldoni. And again, that money is going to be adding up quite quickly. Here's what he had to say to Forbes when he decided to close down his foundation. We decided that private giving was a better way to go forward, he told Forbes, explaining he will start donating through a donor-advised fund. DAFs are increasingly popular philanthropy vehicles for high net worth individuals, in part because they do not require filing public financial records. Foundations can be slow and bureaucratic. This gives us a lot more flexibility and allows us to give more money with fewer resources. I mean, I don't think this is the case, but I also wonder if there's any legal reason to shutting down the company. Like, would Blake come after their finances? Again, I have no idea. The Wayfair Foundation was widely reported to be Baldoni's organization when the news of its closure broke. According to Forbes reporting, it was Sarowitz's entity. He provided the funding, while Baldoni advised on its activities as a board member. Sarowitz contributed $160 million to the foundation, which doled out nearly $60 million to over 200 nonprofits from its 2021 founding through 2024. He's contributed another $90 million to a separate charitable family foundation with a separate mission that his wife runs. Listen, I've said this before. I don't think the world needs any billionaires. I think our tax system should make sure that the money that billionaires sort of make, to that extensive level, goes back into society. But it seems as though there are some that, like Steve Sarowitz, that are doing good with their money here. Inspired by his Baha'i faith, the name Wayfarer was meant to evoke traveling the path toward a more unified world. The foundation, which aimed to promote social justice and empower minorities, tried to avoid being associated with the studio's legal drama, which has captured the public's attention. To me, the purpose of money is to serve humanity, period, Sarowitz told Forbes in an interview in Highland Park, Illinois last year, discussing his giving before the controversy erupted. You hate to see, an organization like this, which is literally just giving money to organizations that can use the money. You'd hate to see a charity like this go away, but hopefully when all of this legal drama is all said and done, there'll be more to the giving that Steve Sarowitz can do. Now, I'm going to give you guys some information as it's come out over the weekend here. There is a new deposition day of Blake Lively, July 17th, 2025. So if there will be a settlement because Blake doesn't want to be deposed, it'll happen before July 17th. Otherwise, this party is just going to keep on going here. Now, there's a lot of side stories happening with the Blake Lively case. One in which is that Blake Lively wants an extension on some of the, responses she has to give because she claims she has to go through 50,000 hours of footage. Now, folks have shared this. They've run this, through ChatGPT, that there's no way there's 50,000 hours of footage. Now, sometimes when you shoot a scene, you might run 3 cameras at the same time. You might do extra long takes, but certainly not 50,000 hours. I mean, if you're doing a 30-day shoot and you're only working around 12 hours a day, you can do the math there that there's not going to be 50,000 hours of footage. I mean, this isn't like The Truman Show or Love Island USA or something, which, by the way, Love Island USA probably has 50,000 hours of footage of like every contestant getting cold sores as they all make out. Not shaming it. Do what you got to do with your body. But what's interesting is that as Lively seeks more time, people are reminded that it was Blake Lively's side that actually tried to object to Brian Friedman receiving an extension after his house burnt down in the California fires. We call that karma. I think they have that in the Baha'i faith here. So yeah, here's the Daily Mail article. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman's home burned down in Palisades fire amid ongoing legal battles, and then her counsel refused the consent to an extension of time. So again, will this come back to bite her in the ass? We'll have to see. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. Coming up tonight, we've got the new Bachelor in Paradise. I'll be watching it. I'll let you guys know if I think it's going to suck or not. I hope it's good. I'm holding my breath. But here is a clip from Joe Volpez's podcast where he interviews Jonathan Johnson about his upcoming tenure on the show.
Is there anyone that you're hoping might be on the beaches?
No. And there's a reason for that. I know in the past it's gotten people in trouble for like DMing people, talking to people, and I want no bad blood. I want no animosity over hanging on my shoulders. I don't want any pressure to be placed upon me before I can do it myself. I want to show up with a clean slate and an open mind and just be like, whoever's here is here. If somebody's excited to meet me that maybe they have said it, awesome. I'd be more than happy to like talk to them, but I just want to go in open-minded and meet.
So he wants to meet Cat Izzo. No, look, I get it. Like, by the way, he's great. He's great with the PR right here, how he's not giving any answers, but he's got a point, right? I mean, you look at past seasons where the veil was pulled down from the contestants talking about the different strategies they had going in. You go on a show, they all talk to each other. They're all part of this small Greek system, right? Where they were all on different, I love what you do with that, or I love this, or, and we've interviewed folks and they've all had those same stories where they keep dibs on each other, who they're going to see on the beach. So you're going to have it in the back of your head, like you hope so-and-so is there. But again, you wait and see who you get paired up with and who you build that attraction with.
Meet somebody just with a clear slate and just call it that. Obviously, I'm sure I will have heard of whoever it is, but like, I don't want to dig in too deep, message them, find out everything that I think I know ahead of time and come with a preconceived idea. I want to come in and just be like, who are you? Who are you really? Like, what you see on social media is different. Like, or what you see on the show is very different. I think for me, like, on the show, I was like, I don't want to say corny, but I was a little corny. I'm a lover boy at heart for sure, but I'm also like,
was epic.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so he's a corny guy. No, but he's got a good point, like a lot of people, they want to text each other beforehand, and then you go on the show and pretend like you're meeting for the first time, and that's just so contrived. So I do think the show would go better and would work better if the contestants don't try to produce it themselves. But I also think the Golden Bachelor crowd that's going to be on the show will be more fun to watch because I think they're less worried about what people think of them, right? We live in the age of social media where everyone who goes on the show, they're hoping that they can cash in and have some viral moment of goodness, but they also have the fear that anything they say could get them canceled. And I think if we as an audience do a better job of just letting them do what they want and just kind of like let them be like a zoo that we all go to, like, to check out. If that's the case, then maybe they'll be the dumb idiots we all hope they would be, right? I don't know, just a thought. So that'll be tonight. I'll have my recap for you guys tomorrow, and I'll let you know what I think. All right. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to go to the next video right after this one, which will have a link in the, in the upper box here, which will take you to what we'll be talking about next, which is a lot of crazy stories happening in the world of politics in the United States. That coming next.